Gene Monday. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, now you're going to talk about leisure time, is that right?
Yes. Well, I think one of the first problems, Dan, is a lot of people say when we mention leisure, I don't have any leisure. And I think one of the first things that we work with people on is time, and what we do with it really is a matter of our choices and the decisions we make about our time use. So a lot of times when people say they don't have leisure, what they're really saying is they are not choosing, for whatever reason, not to take some time for themselves. And that goes into an awful lot of societal expectations of the things that we've been told that we should do, or that we have to do, or that we ought to do. So we tend to get sort of tied up with the have-tos and don't tend to take time for ourselves when we really do have some free time that could be used that way.
Okay, well, let's talk about for a moment anxiety and stress. How does that involve whether or not we feel we have any leisure time, do you think?
Well, I think one of the things that we're seeing much more today is people in jobs and life in general are dealing and living with an awful lot of stress and tension and anxiety in their lives. And when we are involved in jobs that have this type of high stress, it is very physically fatiguing. And that's why even though you may sit at a desk all day or work around the house all day, you get home and you're absolutely zapped out. You're totally drained. And so what tends to happen is when we feel this physically fatigued, we tend to want to just sit, do nothing, recoup, vegetate. And actually one of the best remedies for that type of mental stress and fatigue is some very vigorous large muscle activity, whether it is in sports and athletics or swimming or working in the yard or whatever it may be. Quite often, if we go ahead and do something that involves large muscle, this will be refreshing to us, even though we may feel that we don't have the energy to do it. So it really becomes a vicious cycle. We live with stress, we get fatigued, we feel like we don't want to do anything, and when we reach that point of feeling like we don't do anything, if we would go ahead and get involved in some large muscle activities, this is very reviving and will help bring down the psychological stress level.
Okay, are you an advocate of jogging, which is very popular?
That's the wrong person to ask.
Okay.
No, I am not an advocate of jogging. I think what I advocate is really finding something that you personally enjoy that will give you physical activity, regardless of what that might be.
Okay, do you think dancing's good? What do you think about dancing?
Dancing, in terms of a leisure pursuit or in terms of exercise, is an excellent way, really, to get some very vigorous exercise, and it's quite strenuous.
Do you think America has just gotten to a point with, I suppose, all of the, what can we say, all of the various things we have around the home to make our jobs easier, like a dishwasher and what have you, that we've just become lazy people and just don't get out and exercise?
I'm not sure it is as much that as going back to the stress level and the anxiety, because a lot of people, myself included, really feel physically fatigued. And in essence, what it is quite often a lot of high stress. So I think it's a combination of factors. One may be a lack of planning to even see that we have the time that we can use, with exercise or any number of ways. And the other is how we will actually feel physically tired when we're under pretty heavy psychological stress.
So time management, then, is one of the problems people must have. They don't set aside specific time for these leisure activities.
Right. If you took, for example, and did a week at a glance, you could see, if you marked in times when you could be free to do some things that you enjoy doing, and you will find that you have more time than you think you have.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Our guest for this segment has been Dr. Gene Monday from the Department of Leisure Services and Studies, and we've been discussing not only anxiety and stress, but leisure time, and thank you so much.
Thank you.